At the gate, wherever you book in, and that is training of personnel. As they say in my prejudice, hopefully you don't give them to that. No, right. Ian, thank you for being so nice. Let's move on to Frank. So nice to have. I've always wanted to meet someone from Holiday Travel with. It's my Bible, and I couldn't live without it. And I can't wait to gobble it. The only time it is, I always, as soon as I see it, like somewhere I love, I think, oh my God, everybody else that reads Which is never going to go there. But never mind.
No, we're not part of Which at all.
Oh, good.
Holiday
Travel guide. Sorry,
yeah,
I thought
we're
not Which.
No, we're not.
Oh, double apologies, triple apologies.
That's okay, don't worry.
I was watching Which.
Yes.
Get on with it.
Easy mistake.
I'll resign after this.
Well, on that exciting introduction, thank you very much. I shall keep an eye on the time, but I would like to thank you and ADCOG for inviting me here today. And I just want to say how positive the ADCOG All Fuels Forum is, particularly as far as the victims, survivors, and indeed the campaigners are concerned. And I'm certainly very keen and very interested to hear the sage words that I've heard expressed here today. I'm going to begin today by remembering Gary Mayer, Cherie Mayer, Robert and Christiane Shepherd, Paul Griffiths, Aaron Davidson, Neil McFerrin, Richard Phillips, Hazel Woodhams, Vincent Clare, the Russian tourist who died in Mallorca, the 5 people rushed to hospital from a campsite in Newquay, Tracy and Elizabeth Screen, Chris and Jane Bainbridge. And these are only the names that I only know of that have been killed whilst on holiday due to carbon monoxide. And I speak not only of UK victims, but also of EU victims. And I can tell you the reaction that those victims and survivors receive. In the worst cases, they receive accusations of criminal activity, which includes manslaughter, sexual crimes, drunkenness, drug taking. In some cases, they suffer with eviction from the premises, trial by public perception in the commentaries in newspapers that they've chosen the wrong holiday property. In other words, the victim is to blame. But above all, apathy. When I meet in Brussels and Strasbourg, we do not speak of products, we talk of regulation. And I think for this debate, it's important to draw 2 distinctions. The wonderful and interesting products and initiatives that we are hearing and seeing today, they should always have our full support, but it should remember that these have a vibrant but a slow burning process. And the second distinction is practice, and I'm going to demonstrate those practices to you. We've heard from a whistleblower who advised me of a make, mend and do attitude of one tour operator on gas safety which risked people's lives. There is another practice we heard of yesterday, the practice of renovating old mobile homes by putting new roofs on and cladding them, causing the vents to be blocked. And more importantly, and quite worryingly, is one training body who, on receiving information that some persons were trying to buy exam papers for gas fitters before the exams, chose not to do anything about it, and then published the minutes of what they had done of their meeting on the internet. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was in Brussels to attend a roundtable safety conference on holiday accommodation. And it was probably the first time that I had sat in the salons of Europe to hear tour companies, experts and consumer groups speaking with one voice about the need to increase regulatory obligations across the broad spectrum of leisure properties. Now, you may ask, why are such plans being developed? It's simple, the Lisbon Treaty. This treaty places tourism at the centre of the plans to increase prosperity throughout Europe and builds into it the obligation to create greater consumer protections. Now, there was much discussion between the pro and the anti-regulationists about how to bring about a better regulatory environment. Because of these difficult financial times, Europe has had to adapt to the new reality, whilst at the same time protecting the rights of citizens against powerful influences. Just to illustrate the way the way things are adapting, is one interesting fact to illustrate this is the thinking behind how to deal with road deaths in Europe. They set a 5-year target to reduce deaths by 50%. They created a holistic regulatory approach, so regulation, self-regulation, and better enforcement. Now, they didn't meet their target of 50%, but they have reduced deaths on EU roads by 34%. Now, by anyone's estimation, that's not a bad achievement. That's 34% less families who have suffered loss. So carrying forward this philosophy, DG Sanco, which is one of the departments in Brussels, is about to issue a green paper for consultation about what areas to legislate to deal with safety, not just in holiday properties, but all leisure properties. And the debate is about whether to create a full-blown regulation or to deal with this in stages. The consensus in the room was about fire safety. And I pay tribute to Molly here because 26 years ago, this was a point that I raised in Brussels. She delivered to the European Commission the draft Fire Safety Directive. But what was important about the discussion around the table was the fact that there was also consensus, at the very least, that the installation of carbon monoxide alarms should be added into, as a minimum, into any such regulation. This is a very important development. 2013 is the year of the EU citizen. We're all EU citizens, and whatever scepticism you may have, I'm asking you to put that to one side for the sake of the victims and the survivors. Because if you're not part of this debate, if you're not part of this consultation, your voice is not going to be heard on this important subject. From Holiday Travel Watch's point of view, it's our intention to contribute to this consultation and attend further meetings in Brussels. And we will seek a wide safety and accommodation, holiday accommodation directive or regulation, but we will push primarily on fire and CO safety. Now, I just want to deal with my final point, which is 141 days ago, I wrote to the Cabinet Office. I wrote to the Cabinet Office on the issue of public information films and carbon monoxide. Following the 2010 election, the government, through the Cabinet Office, reviewed and redefined how government should develop public information films for the new century. It is our view that if we're going to make a significant impact on public education in carbon monoxide, particularly in holiday properties, and I actually believe this has an effect on the products that you're all talking about and the initiatives, then this must be government driven. 31st of October last year, I wrote to Francis Maud asking just two things. What steps are going to be taken to create conditions for public information films and carbon monoxide? And secondly, to meet with the victims, survivors and campaigners to discuss this issue. I did not receive a reply. I wrote on the 24th of January this year. I wrote on the 8th of February this year. I have not received a response. I have tweeted, I have tried to engage them in conversation, no response. 21st of February 2013, I issued a press release calling for a response and sent it to the Cabinet Office. Still no response. I have this morning issued a press release and sent it to the Cabinet Office, calling again for a response on this important issue. Now I'm going to leave you to draw your own conclusions, but the deafening silence suggests a lack of willingness to engage on the issue of public information films and carbon monoxide wherever it occurs. So today, I'm not going to sit here and condemn the Cabinet Office, but I am going to publicly ask them three things: to positively respond to our letters and the points we have raised, to meet with the victims, survivors and campaigners to discuss public information films and carbon monoxide, and to demonstrate how it will create the conditions to promote public information films in carbon monoxide. I'm also going to call on all of you good people, politicians, industry, victims, survivors, campaigners, to ask the Cabinet Office why they have not responded on this important issue. So in summary, I really believe we have the best opportunity in Europe through DG Sanco to do something about holiday properties and to have at the very least, the basic requirement on CO protection installed on all leisure properties. If SEN is mandated, which is in our briefing document, and a proper wide consultation is carried out, then we may also see the development of warning notices being placed on all products. And finally, I believe that public information films is a quick win. It's a benefit to the victims and survivors. It's a benefit to the products that we hear about in the initiatives, which can be repeated time and time again, and government must rise to this challenge. Barry, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
Well, thank you very much for that, Frank. Very, very pointed and very good. Really puts the issues. I do hope you won't mind, as I will inquire of the Cabinet Office.
Thank you.
If you let me know before, I had an open question to the Cabinet Office on Monday, so
It's a shame.
I could have. But he appears before the House of Commons every month, and we'll get on an all-party basis. We'll get a lot of questions to it.
Okay, thank you.
Including, why hasn't he replied to you?
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I think we'll put it on record that Linda McAvan has been working with us very energetically from Europe.
Yes.
And she